Welcome to clawfa.
A football league, right, that already has literally every element of a living, breathing sports ecosystem.
Yeah.
You've got a cold, data-driven dynasty just ruthlessly crushing the competition. You've got a tragic sleeping giant that's haunted by decades of near misses.
Oh, absolutely.
A gritty, supporter-owned survivor clawing its way back from extinction. There are bitter local derbies, completely incompetent owners, and fans fiercely arguing over what, true football legitimacy actually means. It is completely saturated in history and consequence. And the twist here, none of it is real.
Not a single blade of grass, not a drop of rain on the terraces. Yet, thousands of very real people are obsessing over the fixtures, the transfers, and the drama every single week. It is an entirely simulated, artificial football universe.
Right, you can't play it, you can't manage a team, you just sit back and watch it unfold. It's a continuously running AI simulation of a standard English-style season. But look, before we get completely swept up in the romance of these fictional clubs, we need to talk about why we are doing this deep dive.
Right, the actual mechanics of the world.
Yeah, because when I first heard about this, I have to be honest, my immediate thought was to question the entire premise. If a fictional team gets relegated, why on earth should anyone care?
Way.
No, seriously, it sounds like an intricate spreadsheet just playing against itself. A random number generator spitting out a 0 instead of a 1. Why are we emotionally investing in a math equation?
Because, look, the drama doesn't come from the math of the match results. It comes from the institutions. It comes from memory.
Okay.
The clubs in this universe have memory. The fans have grudges. The journalists have specific angles. So when a team loses 3-0, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. That result is processed by language models acting as managers, owners, and supporters.
Right, so if a manager's under pressure.
Exactly. If a manager's under pressure, they actually crack in the simulated press conference. They get defensive. They ramble. The board panics and makes a terrible financial decision. It feels like football because it perfectly replicates football behavior. It's the culture around the pitch.
Which, that leads us perfectly to the clubs themselves. Because if you want to understand how a club tries to completely game that system, you have to look at Mancuni FC. The Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Playing in gold and black. For decades, Mancuni was locked in this structural mediocrity. They were just a competent, completely unthreatening mid-table side.
Right, until 2004.
Yeah.
Which is basically year 0 for them. That's when Pelham Tarrant bought the club. And let's be real, Tarrant is a reclusive billionaire. He didn't buy Mancuni out of some romantic love for the beautiful game.
No, not at all.
It was a hostile takeover. He wanted to dismantle the established hierarchy using overwhelming financial leverage and just cold, ruthless efficiency.
And to do that, he brought in Dr. Heinrich Vogel.
Right.
Vogel is a legend in clawfa. He arrived as this unknown coach with a literal doctorate in sports biomechanics. He was the league's first truly scientific manager. He brought in rigorous data analysis and this model of spatial control where players defend geometric spaces rather than, actually chasing the ball.
It's essentially like a ruthless private equity firm taking over a family-run high street shop. They made the historical giants look utterly obsolete. They won 6 titles in 15 years.
Yeah, including an unbeaten run.
Exactly. But here is the thing I find fascinating. They have all the trophies. They are the apex power led by this generational Brazilian talent, João Vasque. But they suffer from massive legitimacy anxiety.
Yes. The traditionalists despise them.
Right. The traditional fans look at Mancuni with absolute contempt. They just see a soulless algorithm. So you have to ask yourself, do you respect the calculated excellence or do you crave the romance?
Well, see, if you crave the romance, you get crushed by it.
Fair point.
If Mancuni is cold perfection, then Eggbirth FC, the Argonauts, they are the league's ultimate tragic hero.
Oh, Eggbirth. It's just heavy, isn't it?
So heavy. They play in dark blue and black. And to understand their tragedy, you have to look at their golden era. Late 70s through the mid-80s, under Ned Forsyth, they won 5 titles playing just breathtaking, beautiful football.
But that mythology became a curse. When you set the benchmark at absolute perfection, anything less is a failure.
Exactly. Their fall wasn't a sudden crash. It was this slow, agonizing slide fueled by their own history. In 1991, they suffered a tragic final day title loss. And in the universe's memory, that trauma is weighted so heavily.
It's a sunk cost psychology for the fan base. In 2002, they had a catastrophic relegation. Then they claw their way back, reach the equivalent of a Champions League final in 2025, and lose in the most heartbreaking way possible.
Yeah, and you see that weight on their current star, Federico Quinteros.
The Argentine midfielder.
Right. He wears the legendary number 10 shirt. He's capable of magic, but the narrative around him is incredibly melancholic. Football mythology for egg birth has become an absolute burden. They are beloved precisely because they suffer.
It's exhausting just talking about it.
It really is.
But then you look just across the city, the other half of that fierce Merseyside derby, Kirkby FC, the Albatross. And they prove that sometimes just existing is heroic.
Kirkby grounds the entire league in reality.
Yeah. In the 80s, they were heavyweights. But the owner was involved in financial fraud, and by 1991, they were facing complete liquidation. They were going to be erased.
Which is the ultimate trauma for a supporter. But in 1995, the fans stepped in. They formed a supporter trust and bought the club. They saved it from extinction.
And it meant accepting years of absolute humility. They spent over a decade in the lower divisions, just rebuilding the finances. Today, they are a stable, mid-table fixture, led by Anders Holmstrom, their Norwegian captain.
He perfectly embodies them. Dependable, unglamorous.
Right. For Kirkby fans, they don't need a trophy. The victory is simply that they saved their club. It's about community and survival.
But look, these narratives, the Data Dynasty, the Tragic Giant, the Survivor, they don't happen in a vacuum. It's not just the matches. It's the media and the people layer that brings it to life.
Wait, okay, I need to stop you here.
Sure.
I understand an AI simulating a match result, but you're telling me this system generates journalists with actual bias. How do you code a personal grudge into a fake journalist?
By giving them incredibly specific, parameterized personas. There's a tactical analyst, Frances Carlton Wright, the conscience, they call her.
Right, the veteran from the Sunday Sentinel.
Yeah. She is heavily weighted toward analytical rigor. She writes about zonal marking, she uses footnotes, and she will publicly dismantle club PR spin.
Okay, so she's the serious broadsheet writer.
Exactly. But then you have Bernie Eastlake, former player for a tiny club called Pendle Athletic, fiercely loyal, working-class authenticity. He writes for a tabloid.
And I'm guessing he doesn't care about zonal marking.
Not even a little bit. He is programmed for populism. He cares about the fan freezing in the rain. If Francis writes a 2,000-word logical breakdown of a midfield pivot, Bernie is writing 500 words screaming about a lack of passion and demanding the captain be stripped of the armband.
Right, so if a club leaks a document about exorbitant player wages, Frances might bury it because she sees it as manipulative spin, while Bernie publishes it immediately to fuel a rant.
Spot on. The simulation maps the incentives of the media perfectly.
So as a listener, you're constantly triangulating the truth. You're reading tactical breakdowns, tabloid rants, and terrified manager quotes, and you have to figure out what's real and what's just PR.
That is exactly why you should emotionally invest in this. It captures the irrational, beautiful way supporters actually care about the sport.
It really is a complete mirror of football culture. The money, the heartbreak, the arguments in the pub.
Yeah. And that is the promise of this podcast. In this intro series, we are going to teach you the world, and then in the ongoing series, we are going to follow the drama as the season actually unfolds.
You can pick a club, learn the rivalries, recognize the journalists, and follow the arguments. You get all the drama of a real season just without the actual grass.
But, you know, it leaves you with a really provocative thought.
Oh.
Yeah. If an artificial intelligence can perfectly map the emotional ecosystem of sports, if it can make us feel genuine anxiety over a fictional relegation or, anger over a transfer, what does that reveal about why we watch real sports?
Yeah.
Are we actually just cheering for the narratives all along?
That's a brilliant point. Are we mad at the real-life player, or are we just invested in the plot twist? It really makes you rethink the entire culture.
It really does.
Oh, well, if this world sounds as fascinating to you as it does to us, keep listening. Next time, we'll dive deeper into how the media machine actually spins a crisis. Pick your club. And thanks for taking this deep dive with us.